body of work that Nabi Pillay has carried out in the early life of this body of law, this international criminal law, which is very unusual among bodies of law. When you think about it, law is usually the product of long, slow social process. The difference with international criminal law is that you can think about it in a sense as a young person, like a young animal or a young person. It has been created unusually quickly out of the aspirations and dreams and the tremendous energy of a relatively small number of visionaries, including Nabi Pillay, and of course including Chile Eboe-Osuji. It's no coincidence that this book that was produced as a tribute to Nabi Pillay was the brainchild and the painstaking effort of Chile, since he is another pioneer in this unusual, young, rapidly growing field of international criminal law. I'm here to tell you, since I've been reading the book, that it stands out as a tribute it's very unusual among such tribute volumes, as it is full not just of big words or pablum or honorific sentences, but it's full of provocative, cutting-edge essays on pertinent topics in international criminal law. It is highly readable and engaging, not only for the professional international criminal lawyer, international lawyer, but for anyone interested in extraordinary, brilliant, new ideas like the idea that sexual violence can be a form, an act, a constituent of genocide, or the idea that corruption could be an emerging norm in international criminal law, about which you have just heard from Chile himself. Chile has, of course, already played a key role in this emerging body of law, as Nabi Pillay herself has. He will no doubt go on to a still more important role in this body of law, and I look forward in the future to buying and reading the tribute volume in his own honor. For right now, I have personally bid on this book, and I encourage you to do the same. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And shortly we will announce the result of the silent auction, and refreshment continues. Thank you.
Oh, and to let you know the specifics, in order to bid on the book, you should proceed to that table right there with the tablecloth and write your name underneath mine, and then put a larger dollar amount under that. All the best. Enjoy your dinner.
This portion of the book right here. That's what I'm talking about.
You know, Claire just found it.
Yes. That's the book.
Wow.
Yeah, she got it.
Who's going to go beyond that?
I wonder. So that's the book.
Yeah, that's good.
Protecting humanity. This is an international law. Also, your honors of Navelitem Pele, right? It's by Chile Eboe-Osuji. Continues. G of Publishers. UN High Commission for Human Rights.
Yeah, she's the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights.
Oh, okay, the lady. Okay, thank you.
No, this one's the article.
So have you read the book yourself? I mean,
I've not read it, but I can easily I recommend it for.
Are you an attorney?
International. I'm not an attorney.
Oh, okay. What's your name?
But I'm a human rights activist.
Human rights activist. What's your name?
I'm Mohammed Haidara.
Mohammed who?
Haidara.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are the reporters. Oh, okay. We are the reporters.
Yes.
Reporters. So we are privileged to be here to participate, and hopefully that he wins.
Absolutely.
Because we need the continent need a representation.
Indeed, because
in the ICC, because it doesn't favor our people. Each time they go there, grab someone, and other things happening around the world, but it seems that they are focusing on the resources. It seems that the prosecution are actually resource triggered. The oil, the gold, the diamond, Sierra Leone, the Liberia, Ivory Coast, the cocoa, Libya, the oil. So you know what I'm saying. So, what do you think? What was the correlation?
Well, I think you know, there's going to be a change. You know, the more we have our own, you know, our own people,
right,
you know, in the services of the court,
right,
the more the likelihood, you know, for refocus,
okay,
you know, on Africa. So
right,
there might be a focus on other parts of the world when there is similar crimes being committed.
Yeah, but there seems to be a correlation between a crime and resources. I think it's economically triggered. So I mean, I want to know at what point, because the place you assume that it might turn into might not happen anytime soon. Those places don't have no resources. Why there's focus on the continent of Africa is for the gold and diamond and oil, and that's why the whole issue about Côte d'Ivoire being taken over by the UN and the French government. The palace was bombed, and the presidential residential building was also bombed. So I was wondering, as a human rights activist at the UN mission, what do you think? You know, what do you make out of this? Because if you go back all the way to 1884, Berlin Conference, where the partition of the continent by these European powers, British, the Belgium, the Portuguese, the French, and so on and so forth. It has always been the case of resources. So what's your opinion on that?
Let me make it very clear that the prosecution of leaders and African leaders in the ICC, in the International Criminal Court, right, has nothing to do with resources at all.
It has nothing to do with institutional economic. There's nothing economic related.
Not at all.
Why? Why do you say that?
Well, this is about leaders who have, you know, who are alleged to have committed crimes against humanity, right, and war crimes. Right. These are the ones. It is for that basis. And it doesn't mean that because they are appearance in the International Criminal Court, this really means that the resources of the country which they were ruling would necessarily be taken over by the court.
No, we are Republic reporters. Well, actually, my question, maybe misconstrued my question. My question was like there's a correlation between crimes and economics. That's what I'm trying to say. And the influence of foreign interventionism, if you want to put it that way. Then I guess what I was trying to look at is some European countries also commit crimes. Why is that these countries have no law within their countries to try their own leaders? What happened? There's no institution, legal institution to try their own leaders by themselves. For instance, if Bush administration committed crime in Iraq, he was never taken to ICC. There's a lot of people were killed. Over 300,000 were killed in Iraq, Iraqi war. But if you come, once it's in the continent, they was rushing quickly, grab the leaders, and even arrest them naked. Some of them are naked. Chancellor was naked. Johnson was almost naked, and he was dragged over there. And then Lawrence Gbagbo was also almost half naked, you know, where they dragged him out. So I'm sorry to, you know, what do you think about the data?
I wouldn't want to make comments on those issues in the press.
Oh, why wouldn't you want to make comments? But do you see the correlation at all?
Not at all. I don't know.
You didn't see any correlation? All right, thank you so much. All right, appreciate it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the Republic Reporters will stay following this situation. I appreciate that. We are touching base one by one. How you doing?
Good.
Good. We are Republic Reporters. Just want to get your opinion on Chile Eboe-Osuji run for ICC. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I certainly think that he has...
first of all, what's your name? I'm sorry.
Harvey Dupetan.
Huh?
Harvey Dupetan.
Dupetan, okay.
Absolutely. Well, let me just say from not knowing too much about the candidate.
Oh, okay.
I will give him a so-called, in real estate you call that...
Oh, in real estate, okay, all right.
You know, the fact that he's Nigerian.
Okay.
Already...
does that qualify him? I mean...
Well, you know, the fact that he's Nigerian is already... he strikes curiosity.
Okay, all right. What do you mean?
I've been known to excel. You see,
excel in what way? When you say excel, what do you mean by excel?
Excel academically and in many different aspects.
Well, they have a lot of PhD holders, engineers, scientists all over the world. But when you go back to what you call Nigeria, you don't see that. We don't see the reflection of the academic prowess in terms of investment, in terms of utilization of the resources. I heard him talk about the corruption and how it somehow correlates to human rights violations. When the leaders take away that money into their own personal account and put them into a private account in Swiss Bank or London, and the necessary amenities are supposed to be provided by the population, so the population seems to be denied, and that creates a friction within society. What do you think about that?
Well, I think, I think without a doubt what he's saying is anybody will agree with. Okay. You see, but then again, you've asked me about the candidate himself.
Exactly.
I can only over in one night, over a very beautiful reception, I can only judge him by his country, and by the speech that he's made, and perhaps by a few things that I've learned about his background.
Okay.
Now, on the issue of the work that he will be
doing if he's elected?
If he's elected.
Right.
Well, again, I think it's nobody would ever disagree with but then again, I don't want to get into politics of the whole,
Yeah, I was asking one of the guys I interviewed right here on the floor as to the correlation between dictatorship and corruption and ICC. Because if you listen to Osuji, Mr. Osuji, he mentioned that that they are looking at leaders, dictators, taking away resources, and how that by so doing takes away the resources from the population and creating friction within the population. That they want. That seems, if I heard him clearly, he seems to see that as also a human rights violation. You take away the resources, the funds, the petrodollar that's supposed to be used to. They didn't mention any country, but I'm trying to relate that to Nigeria or any country like Liberia, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, Congo, present-day Congo, or Brazzaville, and other countries. When you look at that, it makes a lot of sense.
Without a doubt, but I can only hope that that every country would be signatory to the bond. That in other words, that this whole law applies to every country, in which we know is currently there are some countries that have not yet undersigned this. That's really where I stand on this. You want to make sure that whatever rule is applied to all, not simply countries in Africa or least developed countries or countries on their way, but also all countries, even developed countries.
Right. But that seems not to be the case. What do you think?
There's nothing to think. I mean, I just hope that
that will change.
This rule applies to all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, RepublicReporters. We're still talking to the invitees. Thank you. So we're talking to them. And how you doing, sir? How you doing? It's RepublicReporters. How you doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
I heard you're smiling so well. I we appreciate your smile.
Thank you.
Are you part of the UN mission?
No, I'm a consultant, development consultant.
Development consultant?
Yes.
For which nation?
We're working mostly in Africa, mainly in Nigeria and in DRC, in Rwanda, in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
A series of countries, but the main hub right now is Nigeria.
What do you do there? What you doing there?
Well, we're using their great advances in information systems because they have a new satellite, and it's going to allow them to have much better internet services, and we want to use that to create greater participation in policy definition using very advanced mathematical tools.
What's your name, by the way? I didn't ask you your name, I'm sorry. What's your name?
Francisco Bozano.
Francisco Bozano. Where are you coming from? Where do you come from?
I'm originally from Spain.
Spain.
I'm also Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think about the chances of Osuji being elected next week, Tuesday, December 12th?
I don't know enough about the politics of the ICC, but it's certainly a serious candidate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, ICC basically is International Criminal Court of Justice.
The International Criminal Court.
Yes, which is headquartered in Hague, Netherlands.
That's right.
And so, Nigeria, how long have you been to Nigeria? How often do you go to Nigeria?
I haven't been yet. No, we've been invited several times, but for several reasons it's not been possible to be there.
Like what? Security-wise? What reasons?
No, it's not because security reasons. It's been very silly problems with visas and very silly
is it complicated?
Complications. No, just things that got unnecessarily complicated and delayed our plans.
So when did you get, was there a contract with an agency or?
We have agreements with the satellite launching agency and with software companies in Nigeria of collaboration with certain universities.
If you name one university you are partnering with, which university?
I was just trying to remember earlier on. I think it's Eze University in Nigeria.
Eze?
Yeah. And there's another university, but I forget the name right now because it's my partner, really, who is managing that relationship from longer time than I am.
All right. Thank you so much for talking to us. We appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I guess we are still talking to invitees today. Hopefully we can get a chat. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Chile Eboe-Osuji.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. We want to thank you ahead of time. Hopefully, we wish you best of luck.
Thank you. I can use the luck. I don't know about congratulations. Let's not.
Well, we appreciate the presentation was. We think it was solid. Yeah, we appreciate it. When the presentation was okay. Well, in our view, it was excellent presentation. And your clips were, digital, digitally monitored, and it looks very well in our view. So we will say congratulations for the presentation. And
thank you very much.
So we appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully, we wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
And hopefully, we'll have an opportunity to talk to you down the line as we monitor the election coming up next week.
Thank you.
All right. All the best. Okay. How you doing?
Very good, thank you.
Good evening. What's your name?
My name is Simone Monasapian.
Simone, are you part of the UN mission?
I'm part of UN Office on Drugs and Crime.
UN officer?
UN Office on Drugs and Crime.
Oh, okay. Drugs and crime is a little rowdy here. People are having fun and chatting and eating. What's your view about the ICC and Chile chances in terms of Nigeria and the continent? Because it has no representation to ICC. So what do you think?
I think this was a very good presentation.
Okay.
I think that justice will be done. I think a good case was made, and we are now in the hands of the assembly.
Do you have idea who is voting? Who is doing the voting? Do you know who is voting? Who is the assembly? Is it the assembly that votes in the ICC members, or how does that work?
Assembly of state parties.
The UN Assembly?
No. Assembly of state parties to the ICC.
Okay, Assembly of state parties to ICC. Wow, that's a big information. We appreciate that. That's a huge information. So state members assigned to ICC have to vote for those that will be elected as justices to the ICC institution. Is that correct? Okay. So far, we have. It seems to be mostly African leaders that are being dragged to ICC. But that's the opinion out there. What do you think?
Some opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What's your opinion to that?
Well, we have to make make sure that wherever injustice is done, all those who commit injustice are dragged as well.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that these draggings were wrong. That maybe means we need some more draggings.
Oh, more draggings?
More draggings.
Oh. Elsewhere, okay. So when you say, maybe we use the term dragging, but basically we try to bring them to justice. That's the point.
That's right.
I heard Mr. Osuji talked about the question of resources, corruption, and dictators in some of these continental African countries, and according to him, they somehow, somewhat view it as human rights violations. But they're looking at it that way, but they've not been able to go into it. Do you know, what do you think about that?
Well, you have to ask him. This is his view. What are you reporting for?
We are Republic Reporters. We are here in New York City, Republic Reporters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that.
Okay.
Pleasure to meet you.
Okay, thank you so much for your little opinion. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
What are you doing here? Are you part of the invitees?
I'm working with
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
I work with Janice and Ugoji.
Oh, okay.
And she's our communications director.
Oh, communication director. And
and Contra Foundation.
Oh, okay. You have a huge smile on your face. It seems your chances are getting brighter and brighter every day. What do you want to say about Osuji's presentation today?
I think it was wonderful. I've worked with Dr. Chile for a couple of weeks now, helping him, coordinate some of the activities here. I think he's incredibly bright. I think he's a phenomenal prosecutor based on the conversations I've had with him and based on the videos that I've seen of him actually in action. And I hope he wins this election. I think it would be the greatest thing for Nigeria.
I hope so too. He seems to have a very beautiful resume, a huge experience within the legal system internationally.
Yes, his resume is longer than anybody else's I know, and in all different areas as well. So he's educated in a variety of different areas.
Our observation so far seems to show that ICC does not have any continental African continent representation for too long now. Is this a chance that they might go in?
Well, we certainly hope so. I mean, it's something that we've tried before, and we're going to now hopefully win this time because it's desperately needed. He's definitely the man who should fill that post because of his experience and his abilities and his ease with people as well. He's a people person.
Yeah, I can tell. He's in chatting and eating and talking to people.
Look, I mean, he's right here. He's a people.
Absolutely. He's a people's person, all right?
He's a total people person.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All the best. We should do something. Okay, thanks. How you doing?
I'm very well.
Are you part of their team? What's your name?
Well, we're just getting to know each other. My name is Kathy Surgidor.
Oh, okay. And you work with which agency? Are you part of the UN mission?
No, I'm a Presbyterian pastor.
Presbyterian pastor?
Yes.
And how did you get here today? You just want to witness the...
Koji invited me to come.
Wow, congratulations, welcome. And what do you think? What's your opinion? What's your observation so far? What did you see? Do you like what you saw?
I have, been very impressed with how gracious everyone is here and how they welcome and open up and talk to you and let you know what they're doing.
Absolutely. How about the candidate, Mr. Chile Eboe-Osuji?
I was impressed with what I heard.
So far you heard, are you impressed?
Yes, absolutely. I think if he can really accomplish the things that he's talking about, it would be a wonderful thing for Africa.
Okay, so what do you want to tell him?
What do I want to tell him?
Yeah,
well, I think if he can really push through this ruling on corruption, if it destroys a national treasury, if it destroys the hospitals. I lived in Chad for a year and I lived in Tanzania for 3 years and saw what happens when there's no funding for the hospitals and the walls are falling down and the ceilings are falling down.
Wow.
And people are sitting in the courtyard because there's no place else to sit.
That's interesting. So that could also be a human rights violation. That could be a human rights crime. Right? That could be a human rights violation.
If it's corruption that's causing it, absolutely.
Exactly. But he said they're only looking into it, but they're not actually going in legally to address it. They said they discuss it, they're not actually bringing it before the ICC as a human rights crime or human rights violation. But it seems that they're thinking that way, according to what I'm hearing him say.
I think it would be a wonderful thing if they could make that stick.
All right.
I don't know how you would enforce it, and I think you'd run into a lot of
bottlenecks.
But if we could get Mugabe to stand trial for the corruption that has happened.
Thank you so much.
To be very specific.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. To Africa, to the continent.
Yes.
To Africa?
Well, I was thinking of, a particular individual.
Oh, who's that?
Mugabe, for example.
Okay, Mugabe. What about Mugabe? Tell us about Mugabe.
Well, I think he has a lot to answer for.
Give us an example.
Well, talk about robbing the treasury. Talk about people starving in the streets.
Okay. Anything else? Do you have statistics? I mean, I heard about a lot of crime in Zimbabwe, Mugabe and so on, but it seems we don't really... Do you have any evidence or in terms of those crimes? Do you have facts and statistics?
I don't have any statistics with me tonight, no.
No, you don't? Okay, no, you don't.
Not tonight.
So how did you get your information?
Well, just reading.
Oh, okay. Reading what?
Reading the newspaper.
Okay.
Having lived in Africa.
Oh, where did you live at? Which part of Africa?
I lived in Tanzania.
Okay, Tanzania.
And I lived in Chad.
Oh, Chad and Central Africa and East Africa. Okay.
Visited Kenya.
Okay.
Visited Malawi.
Right. All right. We hope so. And in Zimbabwe, I heard about the land issue. What do you think about the land issue? There's issue about the land, by the Rhodesia. It was taken from the indigenous people, and it seems that's what Mugabe seems to be fighting and going himself into some sort of corruption, so to speak. That's what we're hearing. I don't have any statistics either. You don't have any statistics to back up your argument. There was that land issue. What do you think about the land politics in Zimbabwe?
I believe that land needed to be redistributed. I don't have a specific program that I could say how it should have been done, but absolutely the land needed to be shared more evenly with the people.
Sometime we heard that there was a secret agreement signed by the British and the US that they have to pay Zimbabwe government money for the land, so the white population could be able to retain their land and share some with the black population. At some point, the US under Bush administration or Reagan administration and Thatcher administration or Tony Blair, I don't know which particular administration, but there is a story that that agreement was reneged, they abandoned the agreement, and that forced Mugabe to get into seizing the land. What do you think about that? Is that a war crime?
I'm not familiar with that story.
Have you heard about it? Have you heard about it before?
No.
No, not at all?
No.
But you are aware about the land politics in Zimbabwe, land issues?
Well, I mean, it's not limited to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, but it seems to be central on Zimbabwe. South Africa has been able to negotiate, what they call reconciliation, where the things are little by little trickling down to, renegotiate the black population and the white population in terms of economics, in that country. That seems to be working a little bit. I don't know. What do you think?
I think I've said all that I feel qualified to say at this point.
Okay. So what do you want to say to, let's go back to ICC, what do you want to tell Mr. Chile Eboe-Osuji? What do you want to
I wish him all the best.
Okay. We wish him all the best. So thank you so much, Pastor, for talking to us. We appreciate it.
Take care.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still walking around. Population.
Yeah, that was where you took your final.
How you doing, sir?
Hi.
We are Republic Reporters. We're here in New York City. How you doing?
Good.
We just heard about. Let me start with you.
Yes.
My name is Carl Lumunda, Republic Reporters.
Right.
I just want to know your opinion. You had Mr. Chile Eboe-Osuji presentation.
Right.
I don't know if he came halfway or middle of the way, but he made a PowerPoint presentation when he was speaking.
I heard it all true.
So what's your opinion? What do you think?
I think he stands a great chance. He's eminently qualified. He's overqualified. That's my opinion.
Oh, what's your name? I'm sorry.
My name is Ike.
Ike?
My last name is Aguebo.
Aguebo?
Yes, I'm a lawyer, New York lawyer.
Okay.
I'm also a Nigerian lawyer.
Okay.
So I'll comment from that perspective.
Right, okay.
Of being an attorney like Mr. Osuji.
Right.
And I appreciate everything he's done thus far. I've had the privilege of reading a few chapters of his book.
Oh, okay.
And he's an erudite intellectual, and I won't take anything away from him in terms of qualifications. But right now, all that is left is getting the votes.
Wow. And do you think the continent, it seems to be a chance for the continental Africa to have a representation, a foothold, a stepping into the ICC? Because all along ICC has been prosecuting mostly from leader, head of states from the continent,
right?
Which of course they are corrupt, there's no question about it,
right?
But there seems to be a focus on the continent, which we think, in other opinion out there, or we also have the similar opinion that some of the position is economic triggered. The oil, the diamond, the gold. What's your opinion about that?
I think corruption is everywhere. Okay. I've lived in this society. I've lived in England, and most of my adult life was spent in Nigeria. Okay. Corruption is everywhere, all across the entire globe. However, I would say that Nigeria should demand, really, to have a seat of the 6-man. In Africa, Nigeria stands eminently out as one of the countries that has always supported the other African countries in times of distress, in times where even the Western world turned their backs. And I'll point to the situation that existed in Sierra Leone and Liberia a few years back. Nigeria put soldiers on the ground, and we lost a lot of men trying to keep those countries, from killing themselves. So I think Nigeria demands, just because of its position in Africa and because of the sacrifices we have actually endured for materially and with our human resources, I think we demand to be on that seat.
Yeah, okay. I mean, we also wish him best of luck.
Right.
But let me go back to corruption. He mentioned about corruption. According to international transparency, Nigeria is placed as one of the most corrupt nations in the world. So, so in other words, there is categories of corruption. Okay, where the leaders will loot, dubiously move money away from the resources. And I heard Chile talking about that they are trying to look at the corruption in terms of funds that's supposed to be used to provide hospitals, bureaus, provide clean water, and provide infrastructures and employment and create jobs. Are being moved away from people. That could also be seen as a human rights violation. What do you think?
I think he's absolutely right. Where corruption gets to a point that the citizenry is actually deprived of basic infrastructure like roads, water, telecommunications, and even electricity, then it becomes criminal. Especially if the money was hitherto available and stolen from the country, stolen from the coffers where it would have been employed. Yes, I think it's criminal. I think I share his views.
Okay. So what do you want to tell him now?
I would like to wish him luck, and I would like to tell him that Nigerians and indeed Nigerian lawyers in diaspora support him, and that we will be behind him if he needs if he wants a shoulder to lean on. He can always depend on us.
All right, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, RepublicReporters, Chile Eboe-Osuji, running for ICC to become a justice within the institution. Basically, we just spoke to some of the participants who were here today to listen to his presentation about his campaign to become the first continental and the first Nigerian, if he wins, Tuesday next week. He said December 12th, is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah, if he wins, he becomes the first continental African to win, to be accepted or to be elected into the ICC Court of Justice. And also wishing you well. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to RepublicReporters. And guys, how are you doing, sir?
How are you?
Okay. We've heard Chile talk about his campaign to ICC. What do you think?
I think he's a very, very suitable candidate, extremely well qualified.
You are Dr. Stephen. Are you part of the UN institution or are you part of the UN mission?
No, I'm No, I'm not.
So what do you represent?
I'm in the private sector here in the United States. I am involved in certain UN matters, but private sector.
Sector? Which sector? What do you do?
I'm an investment banker.
Okay, investment banker. Which bank is that?
I'm with a large private bank. I'd rather not say.
Yeah, in Manhattan?
Here in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
It's an international bank.
Yeah, so you listen to Chile Eboe-Osuji. What do you think? What are his chances? Or the chances of the continent Africa, because Africa has no representation whatsoever. What are his chances? What do you think?
Well, I very much wish him the best. He clearly is a very well qualified candidate. I understand, though, that there are 19 individuals that are candidates for 6 positions, so it's clearly very competitive. And again, I wish him the best of luck. He clearly is up to the challenge.
Thank you, Dr. Lewis. Dr. Stephen, thank you so much.
Thank you.